Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us for our webinar today as part of the Financial Wellness for People with Disabilities initiative. Today's webinar is 5 key strategies to achieving financial wellness. Next slide, please. My name is Michael Rausch, and I'm the director of the Real Economic Impact Network at the National Disability Institute. Before we get started with today's webinar, we would like to go over some housekeeping tips. Listening to the webinar. The audio for today's meeting can be accessed using computer audio or by calling in by phone. If you select computer audio, please make sure your speakers are turned on or your headphones are plugged in. If you do not have sound capabilities on your computer or prefer to listen by phone, excuse me, you could dial 1-929-205-6099. The meeting code is 461-047-031. Please note, you do not have to enter a participant ID. Next slide, please. Captioning. Real-time captioning is provided during this webinar. The captions can be found by clicking on the CC button in your Zoom controls at the bottom of the screen. If you do not see the caption after clicking the button, please alert the host via the chat box. You may also view captions in your browser at street.net/PLAYER-ENT_NDI. Submitting questions. Please use the Q&A box to submit any questions you have during the webinar, and we will direct them accordingly. And you'll see the Q&A box at the bottom of your screen. If your question is not answered during the webinar, or you're listening by phone and not logged in, you may email your question to me, Michael Rausch, at mroush@ndi-inc.org. Technical assistance. If you experience any technical difficulties during the webinar, please use the chat box to send a message to the NDI host, or you may email Maggie Redden at mredden@ndi-inc.org. Please note, this webinar is being recorded and the materials will be placed on the following websites. First, be placed on the National Disability Institute's website at nationaldisabilityinstitute.org. Click on Resources, Webinars, and you'll see the recording. The webinar recording will also be placed on the Illinois Council on Developmental Disabilities website at www.illinois.gov/site/ICDD. Great. So before we go into the portion of our webinar and the content we have, we would like to ask you 3 polling questions to see how familiar you are with the different topics that we will be covering today. So Maggie, if you could put up the polling question, great. So if you could take a few seconds to answer these 3 questions that have popped up, that would be great. So one more second. All right, Maggie, we could close the poll. Thank you all for taking a moment to answer. For those of you who are new, I just want to share a little bit of information about the National Disability Institute. We're excited to be working with the Illinois Council on Developmental Disabilities. And like I said, for those of you who are new to the National Disability Institute, we believe, or we envision, a society in which people with disabilities have the same opportunities to achieve financial stability and independence as people without disabilities. We collaborate and innovate to build a better financial future for people with disabilities and their families. To learn more about the National Disability Institute, please go to nationaldisabilityinstitute.org. Again, we'd like to say thank you to the Illinois Council on Developmental Disabilities for their partnership to help build the financial wellness for people with disabilities. With that, I would like to turn it over to Marielle Hammer, who is the Associate Director of Program and Policy at the Illinois Council on Developmental Disabilities, to say a few words. Marielle?
Good morning, and thank you, Michael. I am so excited to welcome everyone to the webinar today. This is the second of many more that are to come. For those of you who are not familiar with the Illinois Council on Developmental Disabilities, our mission is to help lead change in Illinois so all people with developmental disabilities exercise their right to equal opportunity and freedom. The Council's vision is that every person in Illinois has the same rights, opportunities, and the ability to exercise choices so they can achieve self-worth and personal fulfillment in all aspects of life. What is important to know is that we are guided by a 5-year state plan and are excited to see the impact and increased individual and family advocacy in Illinois as a result of our grant with the National Disability Institute. With that said, I want to thank NDI for the rich resources they are bringing to Illinois. NDI has been shown to be effective in addressing the unique needs of the developmental disability community as it relates to achieving financial wellness. This initiative with NDI will allow the Council the opportunity to provide a more targeted approach in providing financial wellness resources through education and training. And so that said, today's information is super important, and I'm very appreciative to all of you for taking the time out to sit and learn. And so with that said, I'll hand it back to Michael.
Great. Thanks so much, Marielle, and I'm glad you're able to join us today. So this was great. So thank you. Next slide. Great. So today for our agenda, for our time together, we are going to look at some specific statistics regarding Illinois disability statistics and looking at the financial well-being of individuals. As we have been working on this to build the better financial future for individuals with disabilities, and particularly individuals with developmental disabilities, through our work, we really have narrowed it down to focus on 5 buckets, really, and looking at these key financial stability or financial wellness strategies that when we navigate these different strategies, it can help us achieve and work towards achieving financial stability or financial wellness. And so what we're going to do is we're going to provide an overview of key financial stability strategies. And those key strategies include public benefits and work support. It's important for us to understand all of the public benefits that we potentially are eligible for, understand the ins and outs of each of them, but also look at work supports that are attached to them. And we're going to define work supports, and Katie will be sharing some examples with you. Employment also is one of our key strategies. We need wages to build our financial stability, our financial wellness. We also, another key strategy is free tax preparation and looking at the earned income tax credit and other favorable tax credits that we as individuals with disabilities can potentially access. The 4th key strategy that we'll be talking about is financial education and financial coaching. it's important that we have the knowledge and skills and that we understand how to manage our money, how to create a spending plan, the importance of having a bank account, and then, of course, putting that into action. So our fourth key strategy that we look at is financial education, and you'll learn more about that today. And then the final out of the 5 key strategies is asset development. And asset development is an important component here as those are the items that help us build our financial wellness, as those items that help us achieve that goal, whether it's owning a home, owning a car, or continuing my education. My education is an asset. So asset development is a key component, and we'll share some additional information on that strategy. And for each of these strategies, we're going to share with you resources and tools. We believe that if you have the information on each of these key strategies, where do you go to get more information? And so we believe very strongly that each time we talk about these strategies that we must share resources and tools that you can access. We then will open it up for questions and answers, and then as we close out today's webinar, we will also share with you some additional training opportunities as we continue to build the awareness on financial wellness for people with developmental disabilities. Next slide. So I'm grateful today that my colleague Katie Metz, who is the Manager of Financial Empowerment and Inclusion here at the National Disability Institute, will be sharing more information with us today on these key strategies. Katie has been with us, I believe, for going on 10 years, I think, and has worked a lot in the field to help organizations and help individuals navigate these 5 key strategies to help them build their financial wellness. So with that, I'd like to turn it over to Katie to go into our presentation for us.
Thank you, Michael, and thanks. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
So thank you, Michael. Special thank you to Marielle and the Illinois Council on Developmental Disabilities for not only being with us today, but also for the opportunity to share this information today. So to all of you, good morning, welcome. As my colleague mentioned, I'm Katie Metz. I've been working in the disability field for over 20 years. The first half of my career, I served as ADA Coordinator and Manager of Disability Services for the Mayor's Office in Florida, Jacksonville, Florida. And as Michael said, for the past 9 years, I've been working with NDI on multiple initiatives to further our mission of economic self-sufficiency for persons with disabilities and their families. So I commend each of you for joining us today as you strive to learn more and help us in achieving our vision where people with disabilities have equal access to financial stability. So let's get started. Let's take a quick look at the numbers that help us set the foundation of why we're having and why we need to continue to have this ongoing conversation about financial wellness for persons with disabilities, not only through this series of webinars, but also on upcoming Train the Trainer events that you'll hear more about. These statistics indicate the social and economic status of non-institutionalized people with disabilities in Illinois. We use the data from the 2017 American Community Survey, which can be found in the 2017 Annual Disability Status Report compiled by Cornell University. The report provides policymakers, advocates, reporters, and the public with a summary of the most recent demographic and economic statistics on non-institutionalized population of persons with disabilities. The comparisons are made to people without disabilities and across disability types. So as you see here, 11% of overall Illinois' population report having some type of disability. 39% of adults are employed compared to 80% of those without a disability. 24% of adults with a disability work full-time. The status report primarily looks at the working age population because the employment gap between people with and without disabilities is often a major focus of government programs and advocacy efforts. So as many of you know or can imagine, employment can be a key factor in the social integration and economic self-sufficiency of working age persons with disabilities. We also note here that 20% receive supplemental security income, and 25% of working age people with a disability live in poverty compared to 10% without disabilities. As a quick note, you can find other states and national disability statistics at the website referenced, disabilitystatistics.org. The Americans with Disabilities Act passed in 1990. Congress recognized that the presence of disabilities, physical and/or mental, should not diminish a person's right to fully participate in all aspects of society. However, Americans with disabilities are frequently precluded from doing so because of prejudice or antiquated attitudes about the limitations of people with disabilities, the failure to remove societal and institutional barriers. The ADA states our nation's goals are to assure equality of opportunity, full participation, independent living, and economic self-sufficiency for individuals with disabilities. We've come a long way, but we still have a lot more work to do. The key to achieving these goals is the ability of people with disabilities to become financially stable. It's generally only possible through employment, high quality and affordable health care, and ready to access financial information and services. 29 years after the signing into law of the Americans with Disabilities Act, there remain persistent barriers to economic self-sufficiency for people with disabilities. As we noted earlier, a third of whom live below the poverty line. So it's really important that we talk about making this paradigm shift to acknowledge that, next slide please, acknowledge that public benefits in exchange for a life of poverty is a bad deal for everyone. Individuals live in poverty at higher rates than any other group in America. So we need to discuss a movement from poverty to financial well-being and make sure that this new conversation is talked about in what we're doing in the future. And it truly is the only way to ensure equal opportunity and full participation. So let's talk about the 5 key strategies. At National Disability Institute, we focus on these 5 key strategies. Michael kind of mentioned some of them before, and we're going to go into a little more depth now. These are really important to help an individual build their financial well-being. As we noted before, they include public benefits and work supports, employment, free tax preparation, financial education, literacy and education, financial coaching, asset development. We believe that as we assist an individual to move to financial stability, that this holistic approach of accessing tools and resources in each of these key categories provides this framework which enhances their pathway to self-sufficiency. So we're going to look at each of these in more detail, and we'll also provide resources and tools for each category. Let's start by identifying a goal. Everyone has goals in life, often tied to a financial goal. Is there something you need or you want to purchase that you need to save for? The goals may change over time, but we all have goals and we all have dreams in our lives, right? For example, a youth goal is likely to be very different from an adult's goal or senior's goal. Maybe it's saving for a concert or school in your youth, but as we get older, it may be saving for a car or a home or retirement. Sometimes it helps to set maybe a short-term goal to meet within 3 months, maybe then a 1-year goal and a 5-year goal. But I think it's important to keep in mind during the process of setting goals that they're never fully complete. Once you meet one goal, we're often working towards or striving towards another goal in the future. Let's talk about the next step. Key strategy number 1, benefits planning and work supports. Once an individual establishes their goal, we begin to look at each of these 5 categories to see which programs and tools an individual may assess or access to help them achieve their goal and or take steps towards building that goal. The first category is benefits planning and work supports. It's really important for us to look at all of the public benefits that an individual can receive, as well as look at the work supports that are available to them. You might be wondering, what do you consider benefits planning and what do you consider a work support? Here's some important definitions. Public benefits are those benefits made available by the federal, state, or local government to assist people who need help with food, health care, day-to-day expenses. When it comes to a work support, they are the supports that lead to an increase in job retention or job placement, as well as possible advancement in their employment status. There are a variety of public benefits available to individuals if they qualify. So a few examples might be public benefits such as supplemental security income, Social Security Disability Insurance, Medicaid, Medicare, etc. Work supports may include Social Security Administrative Work Incentives and Medicaid buy-in, Family Self-Sufficiency Program, etc. Some of the work incentives under SSI are listed, next slide, under the work incentives are listed here. Oh, I'm sorry, go back one slide, my apologies, I missed one. Thanks, Maggie. The Social Administration has 2 programs to support individuals who meet the Social Security Administration's disability standard. They are not permanent benefits and are evaluated periodically. Many people with disabilities who receive these, either Social Security Disability Insurance, SSDI, or Supplemental Security Income, SSI, many people who receive either of these want to return to work, but they're unsure of what will happen if they do so and what will happen to their benefits. Special work incentives are available, and they do make it possible for individuals to test their ability to go back to work while they continue to receive some of all of their cash and health benefits. On the next slide are a few examples of some of these SSA work incentives, both under Supplemental Security Income and Social Security Disability Insurance. So I encourage you to join our next webinar, which will be on November 14th, the ADCs of Social Security Benefits and Work Supports, as well as where to find the experts. This webinar will be presented by our colleague and our national expert on Social Security Administration and the different aspects when it comes to Social Security benefits as well as work supports. There are a number of benefits and supports available that we talked about, and often these benefits can be very confusing and overwhelming to navigate, which is why after you review some of the resources that you'll find, it's also important to get to know the local partners that are administering what we call WIPA, Work Incentives Planning and Assistance. These projects have trained staff on public benefit programs, particularly Social Security benefits, and they can truly be a valuable resource to the work that's being done. They are invaluable for persons with disabilities in understanding benefits and returning to work. Each WIPA has a Community Work Incentives Coordinator, which is called a CWIC, and they are trained experts who work with individuals one-on-one to provide truly in-depth counseling about benefits and the effect that work might have on your benefits. So who's eligible? Anyone currently receiving Supplemental Security Income, Social Security Disability Insurance, or Social Security Childhood Disability Benefits, and is either working, looking for work, or thinking about work. On the next slide, we give you a couple of samples, organizations, WIPA projects specific to Illinois, the Illinois Assistive Technology Program, and the City of Chicago's Mayor's Office for People with Disabilities. We will have these slides available for download in the near future, so you can access this information. And again, we will talk more in depth on our November 14th webinar next month. So really quickly to go over some of the public benefits with work supports. These are some examples. HUD, Section 8 Family Self-Sufficiency Program. The SNAP, food stamps, many people know as food stamps program, has an employment and training program as well. And so does TANF, has an employment and training program. Again, these are each different public benefits that provide work supports that help to increase in job retention, placement, and possible advancement. The key message here is that it's really important for an individual to look at each of the public benefits and the work support programs that are available. To get with your WIPA or your CWIC and to really talk through the different opportunities that are available, what public benefits you're currently receiving, what you might be able to apply for, and what programs are available that you may be potentially eligible for. For those programs that the individual is already receiving support from, it's really important to see if they're eligible for any of these individual work supports attached to each program. And it will really drive them towards assisting them to reach their employment and financial goals. So let's look at employment, strategy number 2. So now that we understand a little bit about the benefits planning and the work supports and how that might tie into our holistic approach towards reaching our goals, we really believe that employment leads to better employment opportunities, outcomes for individuals. Once an individual understands their benefits and their work supports, they're better equipped to choose what employment works best for them and really work towards a path to increasing income and then achieving their financial goals. We all need employment to help us build our wealth. Several different types of employment that we look at: full-time, part-time, seasonal, self-employment, maybe competitive employment, apprenticeship, customized employment, sheltered employment, and supported employment. I think it's important for us to remember that when we talk about employment, it doesn't necessarily mean just a full-time job, although that might be great for many. It may not be the right fit for some. So we want to talk about and look at what are the different types of employment and what are the different opportunities for individuals with disabilities to really be able to learn how that they can improve their income and in turn improve their financial wealth. We encourage you strongly, when you're talking about employment, to partner with and visit your local American Job Center. They may be called different things in different areas, workforce centers, worksource centers, different things in different places. But what you can do is really establish a relationship with your local American Job Center. Under the WIOA, the Workforce Innovation Opportunity Act, American Job Centers are really tasked with providing a full range of assistance for job seekers, specifically persons with disabilities, all in one area. They offer youth employment placement, senior employment placement, mock interviews, resume preparation, career counseling, referrals, all sorts of wonderful services that can really help in providing career exploration, maybe career pathways, and training and assistance in finding a job. So they're really a single access point to really help individuals find a job, identify training, and then gain skills in growing industries. We have the website, again, listed here. You can find your American Job Center by visiting jobcenter.usa.gov, or also the direct link that's included in the slide. Let's move on to key strategy number 3. Number 3, free tax preparation. This strategy is really where we look at and help an individual to achieve financial goals when it comes to what individuals may often not think about, right? Filing your taxes. They may not think that they need to file taxes due to lower wages, or they're afraid to receive a refund that could potentially affect or impact their public benefits. But if an individual receives a public benefit and files a tax return receiving a refund, they have 12 months to spend down the amount of the refund before it impacts their eligibility for SSI or Medicaid. So this is often a key factor in explaining to individuals that they, if eligible, could file their taxes, receive a refund, and potentially tax credits, such as my colleague mentioned earlier, the Earned Income Tax Credit. This money might assist them in really working towards their goal or working towards lifting out of poverty for those individuals who are working towards perhaps doing other things, such as going back to school, and could use that money in a variety of ways, saving for the future. One such way, free tax preparation services that are available is called Vita. So our goal is to educate individuals on free tax prep services and to really allow individuals to keep the money that they would have spent to have their taxes done in their pocket. So there's a couple resources that we've given you here that are important to look at when it comes to free tax preparation services. As I mentioned, Volunteer Income Tax Assistance, VITA, is a program that offers free tax help to people who generally make $56,000 or less for persons with disabilities, the elderly, and limited English-speaking taxpayers who need assistance in preparing their own taxes. That means that $56,000 or less is an adjusted gross income of a household, and it does fluctuate from year to year. So we always encourage individuals to check with the IRS every year to see, or your local VITA site to see what the income limit is for that year. The VITA program is made up of IRS certified volunteers who provide free basic income tax return preparation with electronic filing to qualified individuals. They offer free tax help for those who qualify, and you can use the link that's listed here, irs.treasury.gov/free tax prep, to find either your local Vita site, or if you're interested in doing free self-tax preparation, there are options also available at this site for what they call free file, in which individuals can do their taxes for free through a self-preparation tool online. Our next key strategy is financial education, financial coaching. This fourth strategy assists an individual in achieving their goal. Financial education is the possession of knowledge and understanding of financial matters. Financial coaching is working with the coach to assist you in achieving your financial goals. It's a really integral step in ensuring that individuals know what they need and how to save money to reach their financial goal. Financial education. There are a wide variety of topics that are covered in financial, next slide please. There are a wide variety of topics that are covered in financial literacy programs. Some of them include banking, saving, investing, credit, debt management, rent versus homeownership, and these are just a few key tools that are listed in different financial education curriculums that you might find. A few, just off the top, next slide, that we often work with and recommend, and you'll learn more about in the future, are the FDIC Money Smart program, HandsOn Banking, Better Money Habits, the UIC Building Financial Wellness Curriculum, and then at National Disability Institute's website, you can find a multitude of resources, curriculums, and tools that are available to provide support for persons with disabilities to improve their financial well-being. Next slide. So a little bit more about Money Smart. The FDIC's Money Smart financial education program can help people of all ages enhance their financial skills and really create positive banking relationships. They developed this tool to help low and moderate income individuals understand basic financial services, develop money management skills, and how to use banking services effectively. First released in 2001, and it's been regularly updated since, it has a long track record of success. It is available in English, Spanish, Chinese, Korean, and the Vietnamese, and it is free of charge to the user. So there are several different methods for learning and teaching individuals about financial services that you can obtain by going to this website. You can get copies of the curriculum sent to you, or you can download different options for instructions and curriculums, or take a self-paced course by clicking the Money Smart link at fdic.gov/consumers/consumer/Money Smart. Next slide. HandsOn Banking was developed by Wells Fargo as a free public service. It's truly an innovative, entertaining program that contains no commercial content on a variety of financial education topics. It is also free, it's engaging, it's non-commercial, and it's available in both English and Spanish. It teaches people in all stages of life about the basics of responsible money management, including how to create a budget, save and invest, borrow responsibly, buy a home, establish a small business, and many more. They really provide their self-direct courses where you can take in-depth financial literacy at different stages of the life. They also offer classroom resources for educators and really help families to kind of look at their goals, individuals to look at their goals, and figure out ways to better take charge of their financial future. So recognizing that this was really an important first step to financial stability and independence, NDI worked with Wells Fargo to release 15 quick financial education reference guides and 5 supplemental guides for persons with disabilities. These guides are designed to provide financial educators, American Job Centers, VR, community-based organizations, etc., access to resources and tools specifically for persons with disabilities. So these disability-specific materials are developed to complement the existing hands-on banking instructor guides for young adults, and entrepreneurs. Their guides provide easy-to-read statistics, information, and resources for individuals with disabilities who may experience common barriers that relate to employment, medical benefits, transportation, money management, home ownership, and several other barriers as they take steps towards financial well-being and self-sufficiency. These guides also cover disability sensitivity and information for educators and instructors of young adults, adults and entrepreneurs with disabilities, and again, include various topics. And there's numerous tips, tools, resources, and links that are provided. You can download the HandsOn Banking Quick Reference Guides at nationaldisabilityinstitute.org/downloads/reference guides. And you can access the HandsOn Banking curriculum at handsonbanking.org. Our next curriculum we want to talk about briefly is Better Money Habits. Better Money Habits was developed by Bank of America and Khan Academy as a free online financial education tool. It is a simple way to get real practical knowledge about money. Again, it is completely free. The tools and information on bettermoneyhabits.com really help people to get to know how they need to make smarter, more confident financial decisions. And developed in partnership with NDI, there are even specific lessons for persons with intellectual disabilities. You may access these resources and tools at bettermoneyhabits.bank-america.com/community/en/financial-independence-first-steps. Again, we encourage you to visit these resources. All of them are really great financial literacy and educational tools that have really worked to provide free resources to the community. And we have worked with each of them to ensure that disability is included in the different financial education curriculums, tools, and resources that have been provided. Our fifth key strategy is asset development, our final strategy. So as we have put the other strategies into action, asset development assists the individual build assets to help them achieve their financial goal. So as we've worked in all these different steps, we want to help the individual understand that asset development really is key in achieving those financial goals and a lifetime of financial economic self-sufficiency. Asset development could include many things: buying a car, going back to school, buying a house, or even starting in a business. On the next slide, you'll see examples of these assets. Because oftentimes individuals do ask us what the examples of assets are. They're really anything that has a value. So it doesn't necessarily just mean physical or concrete things. It can also be education, work history, those things that help you build towards a better and brighter future employment opportunities, your circle of support, which really can do the same, help you both in your employment opportunities as well as your quality of life overall. Your circle of support can include family, friends, anyone who has an interest in ensuring the individual with a disability is able to meet their financial goals and work towards that better financial stability. Your home, your small business, your savings, your retirement are also, of course, included in the traditional types of assets. So what are we doing here as we achieve our goal? Next slide. We're working together to help build the financial well-being of individuals with disabilities. Again, we believe that this holistic approach of taking all 5 of these steps, that includes benefits planning and work support, employment, pre-tax preparation services, financial literacy, and education, and asset development, can serve as the building blocks to help an individual achieve their financial goal. It's really important that an individual who is looking to achieve these financial goals look at each one of these strategies as they're working with their family or their friends or their community-based organizations, whoever it might be that is working with them to assist them in achieving their goal, that they also help them look at each of these strategies as they move towards their path towards financial economic self-sufficiency. So what do we need to do? We need to create new expectations. We want to assume that all people want to have better and better their lives. We want to engage people with disabilities in the conversation so that individuals with disabilities are making their decisions and letting people know what it is that they want to achieve as their goals and aspirations. We want to provide simplified opportunities for individuals to improve their financial wellness so that we're not discouraged by achieving this goal, but that we make sure that it is realistic and that we are able to help individuals move towards that pathway, towards their goal. We also, however, want to acknowledge the limited financial education of all, including those with disabilities, so that we can work towards improving that educational opportunity. So just as you assume competence, assume the desire to live beyond poverty. We want to make sure that individuals understand and know that there is a possibility and it is possible to move outside and beyond poverty and to achieve the goals that want to be achieved. Expect the systems to adjust and to support this movement. When we create these types of expectations, then individuals begin to understand and work towards achieving their goal, believing that these things can be done and should be done to make sure that we all have equal access to achieving our goals. I am going to turn it back over to my colleague, Michael Rauch, for questions.
Great. Thanks so much, Katie, and thanks for sharing this information. We do have several questions. I do want to remind you that if you have a question, you can submit it in the Q&A box, and we will try to get to as many as we can. I know Katie shared a lot of information on the different resources and tools that are available, and as she mentioned, this presentation will be available as well as the recording, so you can go back and view it, and also the transcript will be available as well. Before we get into the Q&A portion, I would like to ask Maggie if you could put the polling questions back up, and if we could take a few seconds to answer the questions again, the post-webinar polling questions. So you'll see them on your screen. If you take a couple minutes to please answer them, that would be great. A couple seconds, not a couple minutes. Kidding. All right, so we can close the poll. Great. Thank you all so much for answering those questions. And we do have several questions that have come in, so we'll get started. One thing I want to mention, as we look at the 5 key strategies that Katie had gone over, as we look at asset development, one of the assets that she had mentioned as an example is savings. And an opportunity to help individuals build assets and savings is through an ABLE account. And our future webinars will talk a little bit more about an ABLE account. And the ABLE account allows an individual who qualifies to save up to $15,000 per year without it impacting their eligibility for public benefits. So as individuals say, well, I can't save because it will impact my public benefits. Well, now we have this opportunity that changes that, as Katie had mentioned about expect these systems to adjust to support the movement. ABLE accounts create that moment for us, and that where we see the system adjusting to support the idea that financial wellness, financial stability is my right as an individual with a disability. And just because I might receive a public benefit, it's a needs-based benefit. Katie had shared about the proper goals of the civil rights legislation, the Americans with Disabilities Act, is that the Americans with Disabilities Act does state that one of my proper goals is economic self-sufficiency. So when we learn how to navigate these 5 key strategies, we identify opportunities and ways that we are able to save money where we can achieve those different goals that we have. So I do see that there's we're still getting sound on our end. Okay, the sound is working. Okay. So let's go to our questions here. So the first question is, and Katie, you and I can go back and forth in answering these. So we'll have you start, and then if there's something I need to add or you want to defer to me, let me know. So the first question is, where do I start on my path to financial wellness?
Yeah, great question. So I think the first place to start on a path to financial wellness is to really determine, I think what we talked about earlier was what is your goal? What is it that you want to do? We do some exercises in other trainings where we create what we call the American Dream Board, where you really look at sitting down to visualize what is it that you want to save for in the future, whether that's, as we talked about earlier, in the next 3 months, maybe a short-term goal, or in the next year, or in your future as a whole, where you want to go in life. So determine first what is the goal that you want to achieve. And then I think the next very important step, as we talked about briefly, is the benefits planning and work support. So that if you are receiving some type of public benefit, I feel like it is extremely important to understand what your benefits are, what the rules surrounding those benefits are, and to really reach out to a WIPA, CWIC, work incentive coordinator to learn and help you to navigate through your benefits and determine, can I go back to work? Yes, most likely in most situations you can. And what are the work supports out there to help you do that if that's something you're interested in doing? And looking at those pieces as well as different ways to save. But I think those are the most important first steps, is identifying what the goals are, who in your circle of support can help you in achieving those goals, and talking to your local CWEC if you're receiving benefits, so you have a full understanding of what your benefits are and what the supports out there are, so that you can really work towards achieving that goal. Michael, you may have something to add to that.
Nope, I think you said it good. And it goes back to, as Katie was sharing the 5 key strategies, at the top of the 5 key strategies of the circle is goals, is establishing what that goal might be. And for each of us, a goal that I have, a financial goal that I have, Katie may have a completely different financial goal. And that's how we get to make these plans unique to us. So it's really important that we identify what is that's important to us, that we would like to achieve. So the next question that came in, we kind of already answered this, but so it says, I have limited funds, but don't think achieving financial wellness is possible. As I mentioned before we went into the Q&A, is that as you start to look at these 5 key strategies and start to navigate them and looking at the different resources that are available that you're potentially eligible for, opens the door for individuals to see that financial wellness is possible. We're going to share some information at the end of this on an upcoming trainings that we'll be having. And we will be going deeper into each of these different strategies, as well as activities and more about how to use the different resources, and share examples of how individuals have achieved financial wellness, even when they had limited funds. The next question that came in is, what role does the stock market play in retirement planning? Good question. Katie, do you want to start or do you want me to start?
Yeah, you can start. Go ahead, Michael.
Sure. So, of course, as we look at the stock market and how it plays in retirement planning, you know, as you, an individual saves money, maybe through their work or through a 401k or other means through your local bank, you know, as we start to accumulate a savings, investing it often is something that we do to help grow our money. And so the stock market does play an important role in depending on how you invest your money to grow. I don't think it's too much in our curriculum, but we have other tools that we would be happy to share on investments and looking at the different ways of how to determine your retirement planning, kind of what stage of life you're in. Are you a conservative saver, conservative investor? Are you an aggressive investor? So we would be happy to talk to you more if you want to reach out to us. And I'll put our email that you can send comments to, and we can send additional tools to you. And you can send that to ask@nvi-inc.org. Okay, great. So the next question is, individuals I work with have limited reading level and creating a spending plan is difficult. Well, I'll start with this. As Katie had mentioned, the Better Money Habit lessons. Through Better Money Habits, and we have some other tools as well, but through our work over the years, because we really believe in self-determination, we really believe in person-centered planning, and we believe in individuals' choice. And we believe that financial education should be available to all. We also recognize that we all are diverse learners. How I learn is a different way than maybe Katie or somebody else learns. And so through our work, we have really looked at that piece of diverse learners and what that means. So we have, like on Better Money Habits, but also some other tools where a spending plan is created using images, not cartoons, but images. So if you have a spending plan and you use this spending plan and it says rent, well, next to or housing, mortgage, next to it is a picture of a house. As we put our budget together and we have to look at our food, our groceries, you'll see an image of groceries. And so what we've seen is that by creating these tools for all, that individuals are able to, regardless of their reading level, be able to have a proactive approach for them to help create their own spending plan. If you participate in our trainings that will be coming up, our in-person trainings, you'll see some more of those activities, but you will be able to access them on the Better Money Habits site. And I do think we have some on our website, but we'll double check that. The next question is, are there any self-paced financial education curriculums from those that you shared? Do you want to take that one? I think it's saying like,
sure.
Yeah, self-paced. Yeah. Thanks.
Yep. So each of the different financial education curriculums that we shared do have different opportunities to do some self-learning. FDIC's Money Smart curriculum, specifically, if you go online, has a self-paced curriculum that you can work through and take while online. And those include, as we mentioned before, in different areas of life, whether that's for a young adult, an adult, senior, etc. So we really encourage you to take a look at each of the financial education curriculums that offer different opportunities for self-learning in different variety of ways. they can be used to do that either for yourself, or if you are working with a population that you may want to have a hybrid of opportunities in which you're doing both training in either a classroom setting or through different programs and services, or if you want to direct individuals to taking that self-paced course to online tools, then you can take a look at each of those and see what might fit best the needs of the population that you might be working with. Michael?
Great. Thanks so much, Katie. All right, so we're coming up to the top of the hour, so if we could go to the next slide. Great. So we hope you all will join us next month again for our next webinar. We hope you've enjoyed the first one, and we hope you've enjoyed the second one. And please tell all of your friends, your colleagues, and anybody else to join us for our next webinar. Our next webinar will be on November 14th at 10 a.m. and Central Time. And our topic is on the ABCs of Social Security benefits and work support, and where to find the experts. Here you can register, but also because you registered for this webinar, you will get the registration link so you can register for our next webinar. We're fortunate to have Marlene Ulitsky, who's a part of our team, and comes to us from the Social Security Administration. So she will be with us to provide us a high-level overview of Social Security benefits and work support. As Katie had mentioned, this is an important stage, a step for us to fully understand as we move on to the other key strategies. Also, a reminder that the archived webinars are on the National Disability Institute's website, as well as the Illinois Council on Developmental Disabilities website as well. Next slide, please. So we hope you'll also be on the lookout later this year. We will be sending out a notice where we will be doing the financial wellness for people with disabilities train the trainer session. And it says 2 days, but it's actually a 3-day, sorry about that, train the trainer event where it's designed to provide individuals with disabilities, family members, service professionals, and self-advocates an understanding of these 5 key strategies and a variety of financial education and financial capability topics. The training will take place in February, and we're still working on the exact dates and location as we're still in the development phase for that. If you're interested in this and would like to get on the distribution list to be able to apply, only 25 people at a time will be able to attend the training. You can send an email to Katie at kmetz@nti-inc.org. Then we will make sure you're on the list to make sure you receive the information when the application or the registration form comes out. Next slide. If you have any questions on this project or on financial wellness for people with disabilities and additional strategies, please send us an email to ask@ndi-inc.org, and one of our technical assistance team members will answer those questions for you. Again, we'd like to say thank you to the Illinois Council on Developmental Disabilities for supporting this project and working with us closely on bringing the awareness on financial wellness for people with disabilities. We really appreciate the support and this opportunity. In closing, I'd also like to say thanks to Katie Metz for sharing this information with us today. Also, thank you to Maggie Redden for running everything in the behind the scenes and the technical assistance, as well as to Lori Schaller, who's a part of our team, who helped to put this presentation together. So with that, thank you to my colleagues, and thanks to each of you for spending this time with us. We appreciate it, and we look forward to seeing you or talking to you in November. Have a great day, everyone.